because the Phillies from July 22nd through August 11th have now gone 6-12. And in that stretch, it's the Minnesota Twins, the Cleveland Guardians, the New York Yankees,
It's been a brutal
the
schedule.
Seattle Mariners, the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, those 6 teams, if the playoffs were to start today, if the season ended today, would all be playoff teams. So one thing I am nervous about that's going to segue us into the bullpen is, unfortunately, as we've been talking and all hearing the narrative that the Phillies were only beating teams that were under 500, only beating teams that are not good. In this stretch of facing 6 teams that are all playoff teams as of this moment, the Phillies went significantly under 500, which only helps support that annoying narrative that everybody had.
But I bet they're
Phillies
still
can't
up there
beat
amongst
good teams.
the best.
Yeah,
right?
and not just in this stretch, though. Like in this stretch,
in
they're
this stretch,
6
they're
and
not
12,
in the
but
top of anything.
pre-stretch, they were fine.
Yeah.
That concern to me, I think, also starts with the bullpen. Because in big moments, when you have, I know we talked about the starting pitching. The starting pitching has been struggling outside of Zach Wheeler. Tyler, you did have this note. I did want to make sure to hit on it. That Zach Wheeler has given up 2 earned runs or less in 7 of his last 8 starts since June 21st. And
So he's the only one.
So he's the only one that's been good. Now, outside of him, the starting pitching has definitely struggled. Good consecutively, correct. Of course, a Tyler Phillips, Colby Allard, you expect to struggle, and actually Colby Allard got the win. But it's been Christopher Sanchez, it's been Aaron Nola, which means you have to call on your bullpen a lot sooner. And in that bullpen, who can we actually, as of now, definitively say we trust in a high leverage situation?
I still have faith in Hoffman. I know Friday night wasn't great. I was finishing up Eagles post-game show as cousin Jeff allowed the Diamondbacks to walk that one off. So I know recency memory is maybe not. I definitely have faith in him. Estevez, I think I believe in. I don't have as much sweat equity with him, so I can't say like I implicitly trust him. But he looks the part. He throws strikes. I have confidence when he comes in a game. Strahm has me a little shook. Not gonna lie, there's probably a return to earth degree with him. Jose Alvarado has me straight up shook. So I pulled up his splits here, Renee. He started the year terribly, like that one game at the end of April or March. He came in, got lit up. He had a 27 ERA in that month. So we'll just kind of scrap that one because it was only one appearance. In April, he was tremendous, a .90 ERA. Opponents were only hitting 97 against him, less than 100. In May, he was pretty spectacular. ERA 2.13. Opponents hit 229 against him. In June, again, solid, but starting to slip. 2.79 ERA. Opponents only batting 171 against him. Now in July and August, buckle the hell up because these numbers suck. In July, his ERA was 8.31. Opponents batted 306 against him. And now in August, trending in a similar direction, his ERA is 7.20, albeit in a smaller sample size. Opponents are hitting 300 against him.
Yikes.
He's kind of got me shook a little bit. So I believe in Strahm. I believe in Hoffman. I believe in Estevez. Most of the time, I have faith in Orion.
Yeah.
Junior Marte, I'd prefer to never see it pitch for the Phillies ever again. Tanner Banks, kind of has to prove it a little bit here. It's not great, but I do have confidence in the big guys. Like your big 3 are Hoffman, Estevez, and Strahm now. I think you can almost pull Jose out of that. So you have a big 3. I'm most confident in those big 3, but the fringe pieces around it have me shook a little bit.
Yeah,
and Jose, I don't even mean as a fringe piece. He's just fallen out of the trust tree a little bit here.
He's definitely fallen out the trust tree.
It's not great.
No, it's not great. As you were talking through the numbers, for Jose Alvarado, unfortunately, he's one of the guys that you could count on in high leverage situations. You could count on him to just be consistent. And right now, he hasn't been that. Back to the numbers that actually Tim had pulled, that since the All-Star break, Jose Alvarado, as you mentioned, that 7.20
he's on his
ERA.
list of 5.
He's on his list of 5.
Well, good eye, Tim.
I know. We're here, Tim. He's got a 7.27 ERA with his last 10 appearances, so that is part of that number that you included. And also his Ks per 9 in 2024 as a whole is 9.3 as opposed to 13.9 in 2023, and 14.3 in 2022. Jose Alvarado has continued to just progressively get worse. Also, that's something I also pay attention to, is like the trends of where guys are moving right now, and he's not moving in the right direction at all.
No.
To see him have his ERA getting worse, to see him also at a point where he's pitching the most innings that he's seen in his career, definitely is, I think, a big factor that's attributing to this. You know, you look at where he's at today compared to where he's been at in the past. Jose Alvarado's already pitched 47 and 2/3 innings. That is more, let me just say what it's less than. There's only 3 seasons that he's pitched more than that in the entire stretch of the season. So he's already passing.
Had injuries kind of bite him throughout his career.
He has, but because of that, it didn't allow him to pitch as much. And here you are, what I guess is a healthy Jose, because maybe there's something going on there we don't know about. Is Jose Alvarado really healthy? We don't know. Right now, he's at a point that he just hasn't been at. And he's absolutely struggling. I think you need to scale back his he's already been scaled back, so I don't even know how much more you can scale him back. As you mentioned with someone like Junior Marte, don't anticipate even seeing.
I never want to see him again.
Hopefully we don't have to. But Orion is another one. Like, we have been keeping an eye on Orion because he is young, and he is someone that we were wondering what's a full season of the big leagues going to look like for Orion.
He's got a homework assignment this offseason.
Another one on Tim's list that has been struggling, and I didn't realize his numbers were this bad. So prior to the All-Star break, Orion Kirkering had only allowed 6 total walks over 35 and 2/3 inning pitched. We know he hadn't given up a home run. He hadn't given up more than 3 runs in a single month. He had been doing great. Well, right now, he's got a 7 ERA in his last 10 appearances, as opposed to his 1.26 ERA he had in the 35 outings prior to the break. And he's also allowed 6 walks in 9 frames of work. Orion is giving up walks. We saw that this weekend. He's also giving up runs now, which is something he hadn't been doing. He's given up a home run now too. And he also is pitching a lot more, obviously, than he had in the past. So I do wonder if Orion's youth is showing here, that maybe he's not fully ready.
Some people in the chat, I forget who it was. Was it Linda? Linda's a believer in Kirkering. Somebody else.
I believe, much like Bryson Stott, I think Orion Kirkering has the stuff.
Somebody else was saying they think he could have used a little more minor league experience this year.
It does feel like he's hit a wall.
But the chat is going off about Orion right now.
It does feel like Orion Kirkering's pitches are not where, he hasn't been as consistent.
Yeah,
and the things that had been working for him, his velocity, overall, just his command, and Orion's not hitting the numbers that you need him to be at. And I just wonder if maybe, as much as we talk about it with the Colby Allards and Michael Mercados and Tyler Phillips hitting that wall because they're not ready, I agree. Maybe Orion isn't as ready as we thought.
No, I think he's ready. I think he just needs to trust his fastball more. He needs to be, he has 2 pitches. And when I said he has a homework assignment, him and Caleb Cotham probably need to develop a 3rd pitch this offseason.
Steven's saying the same thing in the chat.
Yeah, if you only have to sit on 2 pitches from the guy, and if he's not throwing his fastball enough, you can sit on the sweeper, and you can crush a sweeper that's, hung over the plate. Mm-hmm. He needs to trust his fastball more. He needs a little wild thing in him. That saying on his glove or whatever. It's whatever it is. Basically, don't be a bitch. He needs to throw his fastball more. Mm-hmm. And he needs to get up there and just let 98, 99 rip in his locations and his spots, and then get people on their heels when they can't hit that and blow them away with the sweeper. So he's just not trusting the fastball enough. I do think he needs a 3rd pitch. I agree with Steve in the chat. Mm-hmm. That's for the offseason, though. So right now, I know they thought they saw something with him tipping pitches. It hasn't really gotten better since that story, so I don't know how much of that was spin zone or what. Yeah. But if I was him, I'd be like, dude, just throw heat 80% of the time right now. And if he's not locating his heat, then that's a whole nother problem. But I think that's the big issue with him, is he's relying too much on the sweeper.